Hello, listeners. Editing Room Ethan here. As of the release of this episode, we will have our Mysteries in the Machine Patreon ready to go. This will be launching March 10th, the date of this episode's release. And again, we apologize for no episode last week. Charlie and I both had some personal stuff going on, so we weren't able to do that. But we just wanted to make sure it was all ready for you. So please visit patreon.com/mysteriesinthemachine. That will be linked in the description of this episode, so you can support us financially if you choose. If that is something you want to do, we have 4 different tiers. At $1 a month, we have the Merce Perfect Robot. That just gives you access to the Mysteries in the Machine Discord server with myself, Charlie, other listeners, and other guests of the show. At $5 a month, we have another mystery on our hands. That is our most popular tier. And that is $5 a month, which gets you access to our bonus show, where the first episode of that will be live with this upload, where Charlie and I design the Scooby-Doo gang and put them into D&D. So that's fun. At $10 a month, we have Hold the Phone. These patrons will get a shout-out at the end of each episode that we release. And at $20 a month, we have the Meddling Kid tier. So you get all of the other benefits going back, as well as the ability to come on to an episode for once per series that we do. So I guess on like the new Scooby-Doo movies we're covering now, the Scooby-Doo show we'll be doing next, so on and so forth. So once again, that's patreon.com/mysteriesinthemachine. That will be linked in the description below. The Mystery Machine drives along the Mississippi River. It is a dark and stormy night as our heroes approach their destination, a withered husk of a vessel once of great renown, the Dixie Queen. What dangers and delights await our dilapidated denizens? Welcome to Mysteries in the Machine.
Hey yo, meddling kids! I'm Charlie.
And I'm Ethan.
And, the back doors in the Mystery Machine. They're opening up. Who is here today with us? Could it be?
Could it? It's me, Adele.
Whoa.
Famed mystery in my own right.
one of our favorite Canadians, to be sure.
The mystery of Canada. Much to explore here.
If only we were in Canada today instead of Mark Twain country.
Yeah, we're in Mark Twain country. This episode really brought me back to reading, what is it? Tom Sawyer? Yeah.
They mentioned Tom Sawyer a lot. Adele, how much do Canadians know about that sort of thing?
Mark Twain?
Or like, so you read Tom Sawyer. Did you read any other of Mark Twain's books?
Huckleberry Finn. That's the other one, okay. Right?
Yeah.
Those are like, one.
Yeah, just those two in school. All I really remember from Tom Sawyer is that he spent a really long time painting a fence.
No, he made somebody else paint the fence.
Oh, yeah. And he was like, oh, look how, yes, he was like perfect coercion of this kid. He's like, oh, someone else paint this fence because it's such a cool thing to do. And then all the kids were like, oh my God, I can paint the fence better than you. Genius. Yeah. And then Huckleberry Finn, doesn't he like run away on a raft?
Yeah, he runs away from like his abusive single dad with a escaped slave. It's a whole thing.
Yeah, little.
And actually, believe it or not, one of the like I think it's like Barnes and Noble's like book of the year was based on Huckleberry Finn.
Oh.
So what it is it's from the perspective of the escaped slave that Huckleberry Finn runs away with.
Oh.
It's called James,
Okay.
but and like basically the thing is, Huckleberry Finn calls him Jim, but Jim acts dumb in front of him,
Yeah.
but in reality he's like super smart. I really want to read it. I have not gotten the chance
That
yet.
does sound good because I don't really remember much about that. I do, however, remember. I think it must be Tom Sawyer, where it's like they have a cave. One of the girls gets lost in the cave.
Yes.
They go treasure hunting. There's that, and then I do remember the whole Joe situation. So when that came up in this episode, I was like, I do remember this.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm glad that we're all just gonna agree and call him Joe.
We'll
That's
just
we
call
are
him Joe.
calling
The
him
elephant in the room.
Joe.
We'll just call him Joe.
We are calling him Joe. There is nothing that comes before that.
Mm-hmm.
No, nothing whatsoever.
Yeah.
So, Adele, this is your first time coming on our show?
It is.
Can't believe it.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. We just like to intro our new guest with just a little bit about you, your pronouns, and your history with Scooby-Doo. Tell us.
Yeah, absolutely. My pronouns are she, her. I'm Canadian. What else?
Way.
And I grew up with Scooby-Doo because the Canadian version of Cartoon Network was called Teletoon. And I think it was that, yeah. And it ran in the 90s and early 2000s. And it basically picked up Cartoon Network shows, and then it was just like the Canadian version. And so they were also showing like all the old 70s Scooby-Doo episodes. So I grew up with all of them. Yeah.
So did you know this one, the new Scooby-Doo movies? Or
I didn't know this episode, but there are definitely like specific episodes. I was looking at the episode list and I was like, oh, this story sounds really familiar. Like I've definitely watched it as a kid. And then my grandparents had or they probably still have, they had like a DVD copy of Ghoul School. And every time I was at my grandparents' place, I would watch it. And so I have like a very vivid memory of Ghoul School and then Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost because of the Hex Girls. Yeah. I mean, surprise. But yeah, I know, right? That was kind of like a formative. I don't know what what the writers were on, but they cooked. They cooked with that movie.
They definitely did. I mean, honestly, Witch's Ghost is kind of a perfect storm because like you've got like spooky New England town in the fall, plus the Hex Girls being very formative. Let's just say, I'll just call them first crushes for a lot of kids.
Oh yeah. Well, they were like the cool kids. Yeah.
What was that, Charlie?
Sexual awakening.
Yeah.
Also the Wiccan shit.
Yes.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Plus fucking Tim Curry, like.
Yeah.
Tim Curry. Legend that he is.
It's peak. It's an excellent movie. Yeah.
Tis indeed.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so, I'm trying to think if there was anything else Scooby-Doo growing up. I definitely had a Shaggy like stuffed toy and a plastic Scooby-Doo at one point, and I'm just thinking about it. I have no idea where in my parents' house they are, but also had that. So a lot of Scooby-Doo consciousness was happening.
Good. So Charlie, before we jump into the episode, let's talk about the guest. I think this is one of the first like fictional guests that we've had. I guess that's.
What do you mean the first fictional guest? The first fictional.
Okay, first animated guest, I would say. Like the Three Stooges were not originally animated.
Batman was animated.
All right, fine.
Harlem Globetrotters were animated.
Okay, but they did start that way.
True.
Yeah.
So
the Pussycats are from a whole different universe, right? Like the Archie universe.
Yeah. Yes. Josie and the Pussycats. They have like the whole freaking group here, and it becomes like so many characters in this episode.
And so many of them look exactly like Fred and Alan.
They look
alike. Also,
virtually
I was like,
identical.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out like, so who are all these people? Because I'm like, obviously there's the gang, and then Josie and the Pussycats. I'm like, there's the three of them. But then I was like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
There's like this other girl and her cat and these two other guys. I had no idea.
Let's go
that
through
Alexander girl, the Alexander girl, she gives me like Raquel from the Barbie cartoon vibes.
Oh my god!
She's so mean, and for what? For why? I was like,
Listen,
why?
Love her.
Yeah, and also like her hair matches her cat.
Right.
At first I was like, oh, maybe the cat is supposed to be like the reflection of Scooby-Doo, right?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, but that did not happen. The cat was was mean and like assisting Alexandra. Also, her brother is Alexander and her name is Alexandra. I was like, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, they're poor parents. That has got to be confusing.
Why did they do that? Why did they name their kids that? Yeah.
So my friends, one thing, have either of you seen Riverdale?
Yes.
I saw like the first season, and that's it.
Okay. Well, we had Josie and the Pussycats on Riverdale.
We did.
I remember that. But
you don't get into than this cartoon appearance.
Oh, yeah, vastly different.
Yeah.
Well, they also apparently had a movie that came out in 2001. I was unaware of this.
Yeah, I saw that too, and I was like, this sounds like a cultural, like.
Yeah,
okay, that might be something that I check out at some point. That sounds interesting.
That sounds like something you, Charlie, would enjoy.
Clearly. Yeah, we get like the main like 3 on like the first couple of seasons of Riverdale, and then I think the rest of the characters come about in the later show spinoff Katie Keene, which only got like 1. Okay. But that's when I remember meeting like Alexander and Alexandra, which they had different. They changed their names slightly so you could, keep up with them. It was still like Alexandra, but they had nicknames. Like she's Xandra and he's Alex. So you could
that's a bit easier to keep track of.
No, if you're gonna go for it, go all the way. Make it Alexander and Alexandra.
They did in this show at least.
Yeah, which was also
apparently Alan was only a guest in Riverdale.
Alan the roadie, and apparently he and Josie are a thing, but Alexandra's jealous of Josie and was like, I want to be like the frontline girl. I was like, who even are you? Like, I was like,
girl, what are you doing?
Yeah,
let's go over the cast list then. Let's
let's do it.
So we got Josie, who is in this era she's a short-haired redhead. She's like the main girl of the Pussycats. She's dating Alan.
Mm-hmm.
And what is she? She plays like the guitar as well as
and sings.
Yeah,
she sings. Yeah.
And then there's Melody, who is the drummer.
My queen.
Also, I love her.
Charlie loves Melody. I think she's just a dumb blonde stereotype.
No, I love her. She had some zingers in this. I love her.
No, she does. I'm not going to deny that, but like,
they did pick on her a lot, though. Poor Melody got the short end of the stick in this episode.
I'm just obsessed with her. That's just all I have to put forward.
I get it.
I love a ditz.
I get it.
So apparently that is like very much her character. She's the comic relief, bubbly ditzy character.
Yeah.
And yeah, she plays the drums.
Which I love. Good for her.
Yes.
Valerie is the main songwriter. Okay, and she does like a few different instrumentals.
Yeah, she plays bass.
The only black girl in the group initially, at least.
Yeah,
and she was the first. I was just reading about this. She was like the first African American character to feature on Saturday morning cartoons.
Oh,
and she is actually. She was actually played by a black woman, which I did not think that they did back then.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, Barbara Patriot is voice actress.
Okay.
Very good. And so she does like a few different instruments in the group. Sometimes she plays bass, sometimes she plays tambourine, but I guess she's always like the songwriter of the group.
Nice.
And then there's Alexander Cabot III, who is the manager of the group. and he's very rich and flamboyant. Gay? Question mark.
Oh, the wiki says Alex and Valerie have a slight attraction to one another at times. He also seems to be attracted to Melody. Who wrote this? No, he's gay. This man is gay.
Yeah,
No,
he's gay.
yeah.
He's also voiced by Casey Kasem, which is probably why you were like, "Oh, that looks like Shaggy." It's like it also just is Shaggy.
Yeah.
So apparently he always tries to do promo schemes of the group, which is why they end up in the Dixie Queen in this episode.
Yeah.
And then because I guess he's there, we also have to have his twin sister Alexandra. They're twins and they have the names.
Yes.
Going on.
That can't be fun. Oh well.
Apparently she always overshadows the rest of the cast. Like that's just a thing that she does because of her whole like scheming to try to date Alan and like steal him away from Josie. Like
yeah, and be like the new front runner of the band.
She's the original Raquel from Barbie.
That's what I'm saying.
She's the original. She's the blueprint.
She is the blueprint. She's an icon.
Yeah. And then she's got Sebastian, her little sidekick, cat.
Her cat, yeah.
I'm sorry, what? There's some weird plot here that says that Sebastian is actually the reincarnation of a witch.
What?
I am so confused.
Well, this is straight from the Wikipedia.
Yeah, apparently the white streak in Alexandra's hair is because it's like the mark of the witch, and in one comic she had magical powers. What the heck?
Was that in the cartoon at all?
You know,
I don't know.
The universe, like the Archie comics universe, is insane. It's insane.
Oh yeah, it is insane.
Listen, we really could have used this to get more, crossover with Sabrina, but instead there was one crossover episode with Sabrina, and apparently it was all fake.
Oh.
None of it was canon.
Stupid.
Really.
That's stupid.
That makes me sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's when I stopped watching Riverdale, is after that, because I was disappointed.
Yeah.
Sabrina was the superior show.
Until the ending.
No, yeah.
I can't get into it.
I haven't seen it. I have no idea what's going on.
I'll complain about it later. Don't worry.
Okay.
And then there's just Alan, who's the boyfriend, who's the roadie.
The blonde hunk. Yep.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Why not? You need apparently a Fred Jones type, which is what he's described as.
He looks
that's
exactly
pretty much that's what he is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess he also replaced Josie's other boyfriend, Albert, at one point. I don't know.
Huh?
Is this what it says? He replaced Josie's former boyfriend, Albert.
Drama.
I don't know.
Drama.
Yeah. Yeah, those are the main characters that are in this episode that matter. They're pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
Do we want to get into the episode?
Let's do it.
Let's do this.
So it's a dark and stormy night, quite literally.
It is. And I can all but guarantee that I have a pretty good idea of where they are.
Oh?
They're in Tom Sawyer country. Wherever the heck that is.
We are in eastern Missouri. That is Tom Sawyer country.
Okay.
Because Mark Twain was from that area. There's a Mark Twain National Forest in Missouri.
Oh, wow.
That's named after him.
I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they say they're on their way to a Mark Twain festival.
Yes, which is presumably in St. Louis because that's the biggest city along the Mississippi River.
Yeah.
In Mark Twain country. So, which my dad's from St. Louis. I have family that's over there. So
nice. I don't really know why the gang is going to a Mark Twain festival, but why not?
Something tells me Velma might put them up to that.
Yeah, let's just assume it was a Velma idea.
I mean, yeah, it does seem very strange and out of left field for them, but why not? We are lost in this episode.
Yes.
But
as always,
it's Shaggy who's getting them lost, or at least that's what th're blaming it on. They're saying...
Yeah, shocker.
Because Shaggy can't read a map, which, if you're driving around, like, unless you know exactly where you're going, you kind of have to know how to read a map at this time, because like GPS won't be available to the public for like 30 more years.
And they drive everywhere. Like,
Right.
surely they have a better navigation system at this point.
No, because I mean, I usually blame it on Fred, because Fred's the one driving, and we've not said before that Shaggy is the navigator. But
is that the case? Like,
navigator.
She should be. Why isn't she volunteering to do that?
She's too busy reading Mark Twain in preparation for the Mark Twain festival that they're going to.
Apparently.
You know, maybe Velma's one of the people who can't read while like they're in a moving vehicle type deal.
Oh, she gets car sick. Yeah.
She seems like that type of person, as much as I love her. Yeah.
No, Velma's my girl. I love her so much, but
yeah, she definitely gets motion sickness.
Yeah.
I think the fact that Shaggy cannot read a roadmap also means that all those people who are like, oh, he has to be a ranger because he's got an animal companion. You're all wrong.
No. Your boy cannot read a map. He's not a ranger.
No, his survival skills are by accident, not on purpose.
Pretty much. And like,
yeah.
So Adele, Charlie is the DM of a Scooby-Doo themed D&D campaign that I am a player in. I play Velma.
Very nice.
Our Shaggy is a bard.
That's perfect. That's perfect. Yeah.
We have like very specific ideas of what they would be in a D&D campaign because of this. So
yeah, I think when you were saying Shaggy wasn't a ranger, I was like, definitely bard. Definitely bard.
Yes.
Yeah.
We have said this from the beginning.
He throws his voice like several times in the old series.
Yeah.
Like, it's his talent. So.
And he's very good at like distraction. So yeah,
that's the vibe.
So we see his interaction with Scooby's more of like a friendship than anything else.
Oh yeah, they're best buds. They're best friends. They're not like, this is my pet. No, certainly not.
Yeah, and that's the bard and the rogue. Like they go off on their little side quests together.
Yeah.
This is true.
I love it.
Oh my goodness, Ethan, we should have been promoting it, but at this point in time when this episode comes out, this is when our Patreon will be out.
True. This is quite true.
Being
very nice
about how we would classify them all in D&D. So we'll leave the rest unsaid.
Yeah. Okay.
We'll leave the rest unsaid.
I'll keep my guesses quiet then.
We come to some interesting conclusions. So.
Indeed, we do.
But yeah, Shaggy can't read a map. I'm not sure why they made him the navigator, but
it's all Greek to me.
Yeah, I did. There were some good puns in this episode that I tee-hee-heed at. Yeah.
Yeah. Like
Miss Melody, girl's got some pun game to her. But we'll get
Miss Alexandra has some roasts. Yeah.
Indeed, she does.
Yeah, at one point she said, you need to lose about 10 pounds in between your ears.
Ouch.
Like, you need to get a new brain, basically. Yeah, I was like, wow. I was like, I'm stealing that one for sure.
She's iconic. Listen, sometimes a mean girl is just the best character.
Oh, 100%.
I mean,
100%.
That's why people love Regina George. Like,
yeah.
The original Regina George. Alexandra got it.
We're kind of brought to a standstill as the Mystery Machine is driving along like a dock, and one of the boards in the dock breaks.
Yeah.
So we're stuck.
Yeah, and they're like, well, there's a storm and there's a cool boat over here. Let's go on the boat to like get out of the car. Even though a car is the safest place to be in a storm.
Yeah. I didn't fully. I think they were more just like, oh, let's go explore for something to do.
Yeah. I mean, sure.
I mean, if you're on a long trip, you need to get out and walk around every so often.
Yeah. For plot reasons.
But I think my favorite little plot twist here is that Mom was like, "You two stop being chicken" when Shaggy and Scooby don't get out of the car.
Yeah.
Everybody else. But then plot twist, they're not being chicken, they're eating
chicken.
Mm-hmm. 'Cause you are what you eat, guys.
Underneath the massive map. Yeah. I will say it was kind of funny. Daphne was like very much did not want to go into the boat, and Fred told her to relax. And I was like, Fred, don't tell the woman to relax. She did like let her. And he was like, there's definitely no ghosts in the boat. And Daphne was like, I'm pretty sure there are. Guess who was proven right? Daphne.
Exactly. Daphne knows what's up.
But then once we get on the boat, the plot literally runs into them.
Yeah.
Because like who's running on the second floor, like just it's foreshadowing for what happens in like the last 8 minutes of the episode.
Yeah.
The run cycles. And we crash into our new best friends, and immediately Alexandra is just like going at them. And I love that Velma slaps her back though.
Oh yeah. Like, yes. Oh yeah. Don't you know what? Don't play with Velma. Like she
No, never.
No, she's ready. She's a sass queen, yeah.
Yeah, so we do our cute little intro, and it's like, oh, apparently Scooby and the gang know the Pussycats? Cool.
Yeah, somehow.
It's been established.
I guess.
Maybe they're groupies.
Maybe.
They
even know Sebastian, which is wild to me.
Yeah, they know the cat.
Yeah.
But
I really
the person who owns the cat.
I really thought Scooby and the cat were going to have like some hijinks and that we were going to pair everybody up.
I mean, we get a little bit of that, but not a whole lot.
Yeah, not as much as I thought there'd be.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the problem is that the cat is like attached to our mean girl, so the cat is also a mean girl.
Yeah, that's fair. And also, who like Alexander booked the Pussycats for a show on the boat, but it's like, who was gonna come? Like, how are they? Like the marketing of this makes no sense to me. Like, how are people gonna come and buy tickets on the boat? It's so he's not a very good talent agent.
No, he's just a trust fund baby.
Yeah, maybe he's just a secret groupie.
Yeah, clearly.
Yeah, it surprised me.
So they get introduced to also the captain and I don't remember
first mate,
what
I think.
First mate Johnny.
Yeah, I was gonna say Johnny's just here.
Yeah, he's just like literally a guy.
He sure is a guy.
He's built like a brick shithouse though.
I know. I love that cartoon aspect when it's like some big guy and you just draw him as like a rectangle pretty much.
That's what we have going on here.
Yeah.
I will also say that we have several reused what is the word, character models in this episode.
Oh, yeah.
One of which being Johnny. Johnny was previously a character model in the Ghostly Creep from the Deep. He was one of the pirates.
Okay.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
It's Hanna-Barbera. It doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, I know. But I was just like, oh, I'm clocking every single one of these. Like, there's like 2 more in the episode. So yeah, we meet them and we hear that. So this is the Dixie Queen, which already off to a not great start.
Yeah.
Adele, how much do you know about the American Civil War?
Well, Dixie it's like a play on it's like there's the Mason-Dixon line, right? And then it's like Dixie is the Dixon part of that, right?
Yes. Is Dixie's anything south of the Mason-Dixon line, which is where that came from?
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why the Dixie Chicks changed their name.
Correct.
Yeah, so we're starting off strong. You know, he's like, hey, not only is this boat the Dixie Queen, but those rattling, like spooky noises you hear. Oh, well, it's definitely this ghost, Joe, who's from a fictional novel. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. It's insane because he's just like, oh, it couldn't be Joe. And then they all figure it out immediately. Like,
I know. And then they're like, it's Joe. It's like, who else could it? They're like, who else could it be? It's like Chains. It must be, Joe. And I'm like, it couldn't be like anything else. Yeah.
Right. Like
we're in Tom Sawyer country. So obviously it's Joe from the Adventures of Tom Sawyer.
No one else could haunt the Mississippi with rattling chains. Is this the first time like this is a ghost from a piece of literature that exists in the Scooby-Doo universe, rather than a ghost from a historical event in the Scooby-Doo universe. You know what I mean?
We've had Jekyll and Hyde before.
We have had Jekyll and Hyde.
Okay. So it's similar to that then.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
That is a similar vibe. Like, that was a very specific episode. And Where Are You? Where, like, this guy was like, I'm Dr. Jekyll, and my ancestor was the original Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, and I'm suffering the same thing.
We also had Jekyll and Hyde in this show.
We did, but that was different, to say the least. That was also on a literal, like, soundstage for a movie.
Yes, it was.
That man wore many different disguises, not just Mr. Hyde.
That he did.
Okay, fair.
I wouldn't count that.
But literary classics aside, we get some shenanigans here.
Immediate shenanigans. Yeah, I love how the camera always pans to the ghost, like, watching them.
Yeah,
it's just like the way that they do it, the way that they shoot it. So it's like the audience sees the ghost, you know, watching the gang as the episode unfurls, or how the ghosts will, like, mutter under their breath, like you'll be scared or something. Like it just makes me laugh so much, because I'm like, they can't hear you, like they can't see you, like why is the camera panning to you?
It's for the children. It's to make the children scared of the ghost. That's the point.
That's fair. No. That's fair. Yeah.
But is our first shenanigan Sebastian?
That's what I was going to say. It's Sebastian.
In the barrel, trying to scare Scooby. And it's like, Alexander's just like, there's nothing under there. Like, look, there's nothing under there. And lo and behold,
yeah. There are a lot of hijinks like that, where it's like someone is underneath something or in something, and then, like, reveals themselves and, like, unintentionally scares people.
Yeah. But let's see, did we get some more Sebastian and Scooby shenanigans after, like, it could be the ghost of Joe.
Who's clearly a real person, obviously.
Yeah, obviously. Mm-hmm.
But Sebastian, is hanging on a hook or something, and, like, taps Scooby on the shoulder to try to scare him. And we have Shaggy, Scooby, and it's Alexander.
Alex,
because the three of them keep getting paired up.
Yeah.
And
cowards. I mean, let's be cowards.
It's Shaggy in two different fonts, and Scooby.
Yeah.
That's true.
Shaggy with sunglasses.
Yeah.
And slightly darker hair.
Yeah, ever so slightly. Yeah, but they're like the coward gang.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, seriously. It's funny because we see Scooby.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We see Scooby run away, and then, like, the camera just pans, and then suddenly both the Shaggies are gone, and now it's Joe.
And Joe's there.
Joe is here.
Yeah. So the camera just keeps doing that, where it's like, and they're watching, and it's like, oh, the ghost has been here all along, and just this ominous figure. And when you figure out, like, at the end when the reveal happens, I'm like, so, like, you were dressed up this whole time just watching them and, like, making ominous, like, threats. It's very funny to me.
Adele, as we have said, every Scooby-Doo villain is a theater kid.
Yeah, like they probably had a script. They were like, these meddling kids. Yeah. Mm-hmm. They also
oddly enough, we have not gotten any villain to say that at this point, I don't think. Or maybe once.
That happened maybe one episode, technically, I think.
They did say, I think they called them kids. They didn't say meddling kids, but I think they said something about, like, these something kids, about, like, how they wanted to, like, get rid of them.
Yeah.
But what's wildest to me is how the captain is like, oh, we have a ghost problem. And the gang's like, oh yeah, we'll just, like, stay on the boat. And then there's, like, 8 people staying on this, like, decrepit boat. I'm like, you don't have any luggage. You don't have, like, any sleeping bags. Like, would you just walk up to a decrepit boat and then be like, oh yeah, I'll like sleep here for the night?
We don't worry about this. They all wear the same outfits every day anyway.
Yeah.
I know, they don't even see that meme? Pajamas. I know. I feel bad for them. But I was like, okay, sure.
Except when it's cold. Then they get their winter outfits.
Yeah. And I mean, the Pussycats changed into their leopard leotards at the end of, so they were clearly
Yes.
somehow had those hidden away. And all their instruments, they must just have a van that's off screen.
Yeah, it's not important to the plot.
I guess.
Yeah, but I want to know. I want to know the semantics.
Yes, our number one Josie and the Pussycats fan, Adele, deserves answers.
Where do they keep their instruments? Yeah.
Instrument space.
Indeed.
I also love the running gag of just like Shaggy and Scooby will do anything for food. Mm-hmm. Like when Velma says something like, oh, okay, like who wants, what was it? Free food? Something and like really that. She just wanted them to do guard duty for the night. Yeah, as I love the two of them will do anything to eat. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we get introduced to not only Joe, but also here is Captain Captain Scavenger, I think. Sorry.
Definitely a scary name. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not a whole lot of effort went into that. Like,
no,
for being theater kids, these people are kind of lazy when it comes to like
the
naming conventions. Like, you steal a name from a work that already exists, and then you just slap a random word after Captain, because I guess it sounds scary.
And it's just this bearded guy, ominously cackling. Yeah.
Definitely does not sound like an American river pirate. Like, this man sounds like he's running a lighthouse off the coast of Scotland. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah. Yeah.
And this is another one of the same character models. This is the same as the Ghost of Captain Moody.
All these captains, all these ghost captains.
Guess who's not coming to dinner? It's like so many. So they're trying to be like, get off the ship. Woo.
Yeah.
We're spooky. Also, how impractical is it that Joe is like, his hands are chained together?
Yeah.
I know. I appreciate like the sound effect, but it's not the most practical if you're gonna catch some kids.
No, but the thing is, you got to commit to the bit, right?
Yeah.
That's the whole thing. You have to commit to the bit.
Yeah.
Well, have it like coming down, like they're broken chains, isn't it supposed to be like that?
No, his arms are really chained together.
Right. That's what I thought was going to happen before we saw him. It was like, oh, it's going to be a couple of like shackles with broken chains.
Yeah.
But no, they're fully tied together.
Fully tied together. Yeah. I also I like one of my favorite cartoon bits as well is like when one of the characters needs something and then the villain will tap them on the shoulder and give it to them, and then the cartoon character is like, oh, thanks, and then like has a moment of realization in a second. Like that's like one of my favorite bits. Like I just love it. Yeah. And when they do that for when the ghost is just like, oh, like here, Scooby, and gives him like quote unquote like smelling salts, and Scooby's like, oh, like great, yeah. like nods, thanks, and then goes like, yeah. I just love that bit.
Yeah.
Shaggy tries to go overboard, as well as Scooby and Sebastian, and then the ghost of Captain Scavenger disappears.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So we got some tech theater going on, but they never get an explanation for it, which is amazing.
Yeah, I don't know how they do some of their theatrics.
Yeah, and then we finally see that the four scaredy cats just kind of fell onto the rest of the boat because they didn't go in the road.
Yeah, they haven't left the dock yet.
I think that's a shenanigan.
Yeah.
So the captain and Johnny show back up, and they're like, What are you talking about? The ghosts? Oh no, not the ghosts. Like, you guys weren't here when the ghosts were here.
Yeah, now it's like immediately suspicious. Yeah.
But I do think it's interesting that Josie is immediately like, nope, nothing happened. We're all fine here. Nothing's wrong.
I mean, she wants to get paid for that gig, you know? I respect it. She's like, I'm here to do a job, here to play a show. I don't have time for ghosts. Yeah, I respect it.
Yeah. And this is when we get the standing guard bit where
yes,
Shaggy and Scooby are handed a broom and a mop to stand guard.
Yeah.
How well does that turn out?
Not very.
About as well as it could, given Shaggy and Scooby, because they basically just walk out of frame, walk back. Scooby smacks Shaggy in the face with a mop, and yep.
Yeah.
And then that's when Joe decides it's time to, I guess, attack them.
Yeah, or they kind of like scare them, and then they end up both being kind of like knocked out by this sleeping gas. And I'm like, I didn't even. I'm like, is that a real thing? Is that a real thing that exists?
I mean, like, chloroform's a thing, but like that's a liquid you have to put on a piece of cloth and hold up somebody's
Yeah, it's
face.
just this bottle that has this like mist coming out of it, and I was like, what is this?
What in the Batman villain is going on here?
I know, right? Like, oh well, it's a cartoon invention, but yeah. I also love how everyone's sleeping in like bunk beds.
Right.
Like all of that room on the boat, and there weren't like 8 separate cabins. Everyone had to sleep in bunk beds.
Right, because as far as we know, before everybody got there, it was just the captain and the first mate.
Yeah.
And they have their own places to sleep.
Yeah, see, I'm all about the sleeping arrangements. I'm like, why?
It's safety in numbers, I feel like, is the vibe here. They're like, we're scared of the ghosts, which there's only 2 of them, guys. You could easily tackle them. There are 10 of you.
Right.
You know. And you'd think with like the amount of ghosts that they've seen now, like Shaggy and Scooby like wouldn't be scared anymore. I don't know. I'm just like, come on, guys, your ghost count is so high at this point.
Anxiety,
right?
That's fair.
Anxiety is the problem.
Fair.
Yeah,
they're in the wrong profession.
But I guess Fred's having a fling with Alan and Alex in the other room.
Yeah, I know, boys' room.
All together.
Mm-hmm.
Well, his boyfriend is outside instead because he has on guard duty, so he had to, bunk up with some of the other guys. Like, Alex is the next best thing to Shaggy.
He looks like him, sounds like him.
Close enough.
So they all figure out that like, oh, Shaggy and Scooby, we're sleeping on the job. Oh no, the ghost made them fall asleep.
Yeah,
weird shit. Very weird shit. And the captain explains all of our life savings was stolen from the safe.
From the safe that only Johnny knew the combination to. And there's a note from a ghost saying, like, you'll never see Johnny again. Like, what? Like, this is, like, buddy, this is immediately fishy. Immediately fishy.
Like, Velma's onto this man almost immediately.
I know. Sure. I wish Velma had just been like, give it up. It's obviously you. But, yeah. Oh, well.
I do love one of Melody's jokes here. She's like, a ghostwriter.
She's got some zingers. It's so funny. No, she's great. She's great.
No, girl has a great pun game, and we love that for her.
Listen, her and Shaggy need to, like, have a battle of the jokes, because he's usually the one who's dealing out those. But they gave them all to her this episode.
Yeah. And then it's like weird to try to track the passage of time. So they clearly, like, a night has passed.
Yes.
So clearly they slept through the night or whatever. And then the biggest red herring ever shows up. Like, I love when it's like I know these are for kids, but still, I love when the obvious red herring shows up and you're like,
yes.
You're like, oh, I know this is a red herring. I know this guy who they're like, oh, he must be suspicious. I'm like, no. It's never the red herring. It's always the first guy you meet.
Okay, but Adele, given that this man, at least from what we know, is pretending to be some sort of real estate magnate here.
Yeah. The reveal at the end that he's like, I work for the U.S.
Treasury.
The Treasury. It's like, what? And he's posing as a gambling mogul who wants to buy the showboat to turn it into like a casino on the river. Yeah. And he shows up in this, red convertible, and he, has a suit and is like this gambling guy and is very suspicious because we're taught, oh, don't trust the gamblers. Yeah.
Yeah. So, this is Lance Goodwin, and he, another character model stolen from, which episode? Spooky Fog of Juneberry. He looks just like
Paltry. This is Yeah, this is like the cattle rustler from that episode for sure.
Nice.
Yeah. But also the thing is, so with a red herring, there's always a 50-50 chance that they're actually going to be someone who's undercover, and they did that in the episode too. So it's
yes, they did.
Yeah, I love that trope, honestly. Although I don't think it's ever explained how he knows that Johnny has been kidnapped.
I don't think it is explained actually.
Yeah.
Maybe Johnny was in contact with him, actually, somehow.
Yeah, I think so. I think Johnny did say that, or something along those lines, when we talk about it at the very end.
Okay.
Perhaps.
Okay, that could be it.
I think another shenanigan would be when Joe just like his face is in a painting. Watching.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up.
I like that trope.
It's not even just the eyes; it's the whole face.
It's the whole face.
I know.
No one noticed.
Like typically, it's just the eyes.
Ghosts.
Yeah.
And they're always watching. I just love when the camera just like pans to them. And it's like, oh, they're watching. But like it's so dramatic.
Like how does nobody notice? How does nobody out of these 10 people?
For a seasoned gang of ghost, mystery solvers, they're not the most. What's the word?
Observant.
Observant. Yes. Yeah. We do get
perception.
Yeah, that's true. We do get like remodel, remake over, Dixie Queen edition though.
We do.
Yeah. And I think that there's one moment where they're all painting everything white, and I was like, oh, maybe that's little Tom Sawyer. Call back maybe, but they could also just be painting it.
Potentially, yeah.
Yeah.
But
that could happen. There's also another random Sebastian moment, which it's hilarious to me that Alexandra is the one who's just like, there's nothing under here, and it's always like Sebastian. It's it's your cat.
Girl,
your cat's fucking around.
Yeah, girl, keep track of your cat. What are you doing?
Yeah. She's not a responsible pet owner, and she also like tries to get her pet to like, I think, pull one of the ropes to put Josie into the water, and then it just everything backfires, like all of her schemes.
Well, and then she ends up in the mud.
Yes, which is funny. I do love the whole mean girl tries to but also she really wants to sabotage Josie.
Yeah.
Like, why is she even here? Why is she even on this trip? What is she contributing to the band?
I mean, maybe her brother's like, you can be like a groupie because I'm like the manager of the band. I don't know.
That's true. Yeah. Maybe it's actually that she has a crush on Josie, but she's taking it out by trying to separate Josie and Alan. But she actually secretly deep down, she doesn't know it, but she has a thing for Josie, which is why she's always like, I want to be leader. And then, maybe there's some of that going on.
Again, that's the original Raquel. It's the same vibe.
Exactly. See? Yeah. This is my new theory. Yeah.
But her falling in mud, I call this as more shenanigans because it's like the ghosts who fuck up with that plan.
Yes.
Somehow. Wild.
Right. So we're down in the engine room with
Fred, Daphne, and
Valerie, thank you.
Yeah.
And I guess Valerie's like way smarter than we thought. Because like
homegirl's out here with like engineering. Like
right.
I was very impressed.
Technical expertise with not just engines, but boat engines.
Yeah, like Valerie, how do you know this? Yeah.
Who knows?
I mean, I thought she was fucking with them with the whole like, in my expertise, something's on the fritz. Like,
but no, she actually knows what to do.
Yeah.
Apparently. So Joe,
Charlie, you say so.
Sorry, we were all talking at once.
I would say, Charlie, you said something about Joe.
Yeah, Joe threw his chain into like the gears, and like when they tried pressing the button to make everything go, it did not go. It got really fucked. And then they tried to put on the oiler, to fix some things up, and he switches the signs. So
Yeah.
it turns on the sprinklers?
I call shenaniganery.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the fixing up the boat section with like all these things that go wrong, but then somehow they end up to fix the boat. I'm like how long is this? How much time is passing that they're managing to fix up the whole thing?
Presumably at least a couple of days at least.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way they did all of this in a day.
But the captain's been gone because he's quote unquote looking for the sheriff. So I'm like, how long is this trip to go get the sheriff? Like,
it's supposed to be a day, I think.
Depending on where they are, it could take a while because they're not like in St. Louis, so they can't just hop off and go.
Yeah,
but
that's fair.
Presumably within like a few hours, they should be able to find somebody.
Yeah. Well, at least they remodel the ship.
Yeah, but we get some Shaggy hose shenanigans.
Oh yeah, I love the gimmick of like the water pressure is so powerful that someone just like flies throughout the air continuously. Like,
okay, that actually almost happened to me one time.
Whoa.
So when I was in Scouts, there was a time where we got to go to our local fire station, like their training center, where they learn how to use everything.
Okay.
And I got to use a fire hose.
Ooh.
And I almost fell over because of how much water pressure there is.
Fair. I know that there is a lot.
So there's something to this.
But like falling over versus like flying throughout the air, like continuously.
There's also like those jet packs. Have you seen those? Just like spray highly pressurized water.
Yeah.
So
that's basically what happened to Shaggy.
Yes.
Yeah. There's also a piano that plays itself, and Melody like makes a joke about it, but then it's never explained. I'm like, how is this piano playing itself?
Player pianos are actually a pretty old invention.
Ooh. Yeah. Oh, is it the one where it's got like the
it's an automatic thing, yeah,
and it has the tune. Okay, I see what it is, because I was trying to figure out like, is this supposed to be like a ghost gag or something? But
I don't think so.
No, we've had this in an episode before as well.
Yes,
like
we have.
They're reusing some old gags, and you can tell that it's a player piano, I think, based on the thing that's spinning.
Yeah, that's what predetermines the notes. Yeah,
it's like a big music box essentially.
Yeah. I did really appreciate Melody's joke when Alex gets like when he jumps onto the fan, and how she said what did she say? She said something like, "Oh, you're getting an autograph for a fan." Yeah, I appreciated that. It was a good bad pun. Yeah. Also, I don't know how he managed to jump up on the fan. Like, that's athleticism right there.
Right, like, and not only that, he's jumping from underwater, which is just that much harder.
Because Shaggy on the hose somehow sprays a bunch of water into an open window.
Yeah.
Causing that room to go underwater.
Yeah, and physics. Like,
and somehow Melody is not affected by this at all.
Yeah, and somehow that would definitely not damage the piano at all, or all the furniture.
No, maybe a little bit.
So we have shenanigans with the hose water going in there. That's one. Yep. And then Alexander on the fan going like way too fast because Joe turned it up.
But once Melody shuts the hose off, Shaggy and Scooby slide on a giant bar of soap and end up landing on the paddle wheel on the back of the boat. That's another.
I know, right? It's like, where did the soap come from? I guess the soap is from their cleaning. Like,
yeah, they're trying to like wash the deck, I think.
Yeah, and they slide all the way down to the wheel. And then it's like that great gag. It's like that scene from the second Pirates of the Caribbean movie. Yes. When they're on the spinning wheel and they all kind of have to like just keep running on it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We've also had several wheels that they've been on as well.
Yep.
So so much shenaniganery in one scene.
But the boat does get fixed, so somehow it happens.
This isn't even like the worst offender for scene with the most shenanigans. That's not even coming up for another 15 minutes.
Yeah. Arguably, I would say even the rest of the episode, or the 8 minutes of them just running back and forth.
That's what Charlie said.
Yeah.
As just like the end of the episode. It's really exponential.
Yeah. Then we get the return of undercover gambling man in his sexy red convertible. It's so red. He just shows up. He's like, I bought the mortgage payments for the boat. Like,
yeah, let the captain know, even though he's not here.
I know. They're literally like, we don't care. Like, what? Like, you're telling the wrong person.
Why?
And also, Josie's like, oh, after the benefit concert, we'll have enough money to pay off the boat. But I'm like, how will you get money from the benefit concert if you're not like selling tickets? Like,
right.
This just doesn't make any sense.
Where are people buying tickets for this concert?
Like, maybe the idea is that they'd get on the boat and then it would sail down to like a city and then they'd put the concert on.
Maybe.
And they'd get donations. Like, that's kind of a benefit concert. But
sure.
I don't know. The whole like money aspect, like as soon as cartoons, like especially kids cartoons, start to deal with anything financial, never holds up. It just doesn't make any sense.
No.
Yeah. And then because they don't like really care what this guy's saying, then we have Ghost Captain dude who like pulls a lever, and then there's so much happening at once because Alexander is trying to paint something.
Yeah.
And he's pulled the horn, so the horn goes off. It's like, whoa! And then the paint can goes onto Lance's head.
Yeah.
Which drenches his suit jacket, but somehow leaves his head, his shirt, his tie, and his cowboy hat completely unaffected.
It's because the cowboy hat was just so powerful that it dispelled the paint. Yeah. Mm-hmm. The power. Don't ever underestimate the power of a cowboy hat.
You know, I really shouldn't.
Yeah.
And this is where Velma's just like, what if Lance is the ghost captain?
She's like, she's suspicious. Or he's suspicious. Velma's asking the right questions, but she's not
gotten the answer yet.
But she's not asking the right questions of the right people. Like, the most obvious suspect here is the captain, but
I was gonna say the fact that like we as the audience know that couldn't happen, not even because of how much time is left, but the fact that we saw the ghost throw the paint onto this guy, we know they exist in the same space.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's not him.
Yeah, it's less believable for the audience. Yeah.
Yeah.
I also like how they set up ghost traps that are definitely sophisticated. High-tech ghost traps on the boat.
Yep,
yeah.
Just giant glass bottles.
Yeah, I'm like, where did you even get this? Like, they're like, we have ghost traps in the mystery machine. And like, it just doesn't make sense to me. I love it though.
Yeah. But now, so the captain comes back. He gets locked up in the ghost trap, quote unquote.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And apparently the sheriff isn't in, which is already suspicious. Like,
yeah, that's suspicious.
I really want to know though. Okay, was he the ghost when he got captured, and then maybe he took off his disguise?
That's an interesting thought.
We can't let the kids sketch me. Actually,
which disguise? Because he's technically wearing two.
He was wearing two.
Which is
he took off one
about that
disguise.
At the end, but but was the glass see-through, or no? It was just kind of like a big like bucket thing.
I don't know. See-through to me.
Yeah, because I guess he never really left, right? He stayed on the boat and was haunting the kids.
Yeah, he was there the whole time.
Oh, okay, yeah, Charlie, I think you're right. I think he got caught and was just like, oh, it's just me. I'm back, and none of you heard my car pull up into the driveway.
Exactly.
Nope. Yeah.
And so they greet him, and they're like, "Oh, we're already having dinner. Come join us. We're sorry we caught you. We're trying to have to catch the actual ghost.
Yeah.
We fixed up the boat for you. We're gonna have the show. Everything's gonna go great." And that's where he's like, the sheriff wasn't in. And they mentioned that maybe Johnny is in on the scheme,
which is a good hunch.
So
pissed.
I know.
He's like, bye. I'm not.
I know. He just like, walks away. Yeah.
How dare you insinuate such a terrible thing?
Which is like, especially since he's the actual villain, like, why wouldn't he try to cast suspicion
right
onto Johnny, right? Like, it doesn't make any sense.
He's got to stick up for his boyfriend, I guess.
Where is Johnny?
Who knows?
Oh, Johnny's tied up somewhere.
Yeah. He reveals that he was locked up in the brig by the captain.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
But maybe he's also trying to get away from them to put his disguise back on. Is like part of
that would stress me out. It would be hard being a villain with disguises. Like, that sounds like a lot of work.
Especially multiple disguises. Like, if there's just one, that's one thing. This man has two. He's been wearing two this whole time. One or two. There's never a zero amount of disguise on that man.
Until the end. There's also eyes in the painting, which I assume is Joe.
Yeah.
Watching them.
This man is a class A creeper. I don't like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And here, I believe, is where we get the gag of, like, Shaggy wants all the food, and then Scooby eats it all for him.
Yeah.
Poor boy. This is why he's so hungry, guys. This is it. It's because Scooby eats
all the food.
How many shenanigans are we doing for this, Charlie?
It's a sequence, so
just one.
Why don't we just say one?
Okay, cool.
Yeah, the second we're like kind of like halfway at this point, right? And like we've established, okay, there's the boat, there's these ghosts, something else is going on, missing money. Never would I have ever like expected where the plot actually ends up going, which is truly, it just. Like, at no point did I anticipate what was going on, because when they start, they're like, okay, let's get a plan. I think Fred says something really funny. He's just like, there's just one thing we need to, like, catch the ghost. And he's like, and that's a plan. And then Velma suggests her plan, and then they all immediately agree. They're like, oh, yeah, this is a great plan. Like, nothing can go wrong. But then everything does. And it's just like, up in like the first half of the episode, I was like, okay, they're fixing the boat, like we're setting all of this up, new characters, etc. And then it's like chaos for the next half of it.
Yeah, this is where like there wasn't much of a plot before, but now it's completely gone.
We've lost the plot. The plot is gone. Truly.
As I told Charlie earlier, it's a pile of racism and puns in a trench coat.
Yeah, and counterfeit money.
If it was just the puns and the counterfeit money, this would be one of my favorites, I feel like.
Yes.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
Because the plot of this is truly wild.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I just love, I don't know, they had the foresight to bring along like hidden microphones for their ghost catching.
Yeah.
But then they didn't have the brains to like think, oh, maybe other people will be able to hear us when we talk about our plans. Like, you know what I mean? I'm just like,
yeah,
make it make sense.
Yeah.
Right.
So they pretend to leave, and then they secretly like jump into like another random part of the boat.
They go below deck.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the ghosts are like, finally, they're gone. Good job, guys. And I guess just the like the ship's radio or like something is like off the hook. So as they're talking like, yeah, we fooled those ghosts, ha ha ha.
Then they can hear
listening
them,
and they can hear, they know they're still there. Oops.
Yeah.
It does look like it's just like a direct line of communication from below decks to that room.
Like, you wouldn't think, oh, maybe I'll just make sure all these microphones are turned off or these radios are turned off. Like, ay. Yeah. Ay.
And this is where we get your favorite joke, Adele, of like the 10 pounds of fat between your ears, because the scared guys are trying to make a break out the window and they cannot fit.
Well, yeah, the window's like the size of a dinner plate. Like, nobody's fitting through that unless they're a literal baby.
And also, Melody makes a funny joke about $1 million. Like, doesn't she say, like, there's a 1 in a million chance? Like, she uses some sort of like $1 million pun that was pretty good.
Oh, it's Josie said, I wouldn't desert the captain for $1 million, and then Melody's like, how about 2 million? Because she's sitting on a package full of money.
Yeah, and then they say you found a clue. Yeah.
Just finally, we're finding clues. It's only been like 40 minutes into the episode.
I know, there hasn't been much of like a trail of clues to follow. It's mostly just like, eyes and paintings creeping on them.
Right.
And
now all of
the vibe of these this series, it's a lot of like we're padding out the runtime for some reason because there's so many characters.
Yeah.
Yes. But all of them get scooped up in a giant net that was apparently there the whole time.
I know. Just yoink, yoink.
All except Scooby and Shaggy, who hid in a barrel when they couldn't run out the window.
Yeah. I do love when like they accidentally get left behind and then they're the ones who have to save them, the gang. Like I love that trope as well. Like
yeah.
Well, so that's a big net to scoop up.
That's a very big net.
All of those people. Like that's a lot of people.
And to be hiding in plain sight.
Yeah.
Right. That's 9 people and a cat.
The arms and legs that are just hanging out the side of it.
And then they literally like that's where I was like where is this plot going? Because they just get like yoinked up into a net, and then like what? Yeah, put on a freaking barge down the river. I'm like what's happening? Like where are they going?
Josie just starts making it rain with this money as they're going down the river.
It's a great idea. She's got some breadcrumbs, so in case.
But also,
here's the thing: rivers move.
That's true.
No,
that's
they don't. Obviously not.
Not in the cartoon. Listen, Ethan, now this is the time you want to talk about physics. An hour in? No. Because we could talk about later when they're on that log getting like we can't talk about physics. We can't do it.
No. All physics, all real world physics is out the window.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I will say good on Shaggy and Scooby to be like, where are they? Where are they? They show some initiative. They go looking for everyone. Little did they know they've been scooped up in a net. And then they have the good sense to follow the money trail. So, I mean, props to them.
They even fool Lance somehow. Yep. They're like, man, the lifeboats. Someone's overboard. And it's us. It's us. We're overboard. Bye.
Yeah.
I call shenanigans.
I feel bad for this U.S. Treasury agent guy. He's probably like, what the heck? Like, this is more than I get paid for. My benefits package does not include enough to cover for this.
So the captured gang is now just like, who's gonna save us? Shaggy and Scooby? Alexandra's like, those clowns. No way.
I respect it. Yeah.
I mean, he's right. Like, to a certain extent, they can only do so much.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is where the mountain opens up. My favorite thing to happen.
Game. Like they're like, oh no, they're gonna crash. The ghosts clearly aren't very good at steering because we're gonna crash. And then it's like, it opens.
Oh shit, it's opening. And Melody's like, they didn't even say open Sesame Street.
Yes, I like that reference.
Melody.
Hey.
God, she is so pure.
I love her. I just love the trope of like a hidden mountain, hideout. Ooh. Like, it's like, also, are there mountains next to the Mississippi? No. I've been to Missouri.
I was going to say, like, there's hills.
Yeah. Like, what is this cliffside, like, secret hideout situation we've got going on?
Hey, Adele, isn't your mom from the U.S.?
Yeah, my mom's from Illinois, so I know St. Louis pretty well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the Midwest. There's Midwestern blood in me. I don't know if I should be proud of that. But
Adele, I don't know if you're aware, Charlie lives in Illinois now.
Oh, really?
Hello?
Yes.
What part of Illinois?
The Chicago area.
Yeah, Chicago suburbs.
Okay, I have not been to Chicago yet, but I really want to go.
Visit me.
Yeah.
A bunch of people from our friend group live in that area.
Yeah. Yeah, well, my family, my American family lives in Belleville, Illinois. So, yeah. When I deign to brave the Midwest, it's a bit of a culture shock every time I go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
But the history, fun. But Mississippi, I know how to spell it. Yeah, see, Mark Twain. Yeah, so much going on. Yeah.
Yes.
Right. Well, we're in the side of a mountain, which I assume is also maybe a reference to like the Tom Sawyer.
Yeah,
that's my guess.
The secret, hideout cave. And they also have like a steel-lined sunken pit that they just throw the kids into. Like who just has that in their hideout? Just like a
also like a training car box. Or not a train car, a mining car.
Yeah.
Like in here, what the hell is going on here? There's so much happening.
Make it make sense.
And we can't unpack it because it's not relevant.
No.
I know. Make it make sense.
So the kids are just like in there, and Joe seemingly is hanging back to just make sure they don't get out, apparently.
What was the ghost like plan with them? Like, let's just keep them in this.
My guess is they just wanted them out of the way.
Yeah.
That's
because they didn't have enough room in the brig.
Yeah, for their counterfeit money scheme.
Yeah.
So Shaggy and Scooby. Yeah.
What was the other counterfeit money scheme we had this season, Charlie?
President Lincoln never wore a turtleneck sweater.
That's it.
It was the Batman episode.
Yes, the first Batman episode. Iconic.
It was Joker and Penguin. And
nice.
Little old Mrs. Baker.
The real villain of the episode.
I do love the fact, the hideout, they've got a minecart, just like piles of counterfeit money, a pit, a net,
and like a crane.
There's a crane. There's a crane inside. There's a giant spider web. Yeah, I don't understand the layout, but it's a miracle Scooby and Shaggy managed to like even navigate it and find them.
Right.
Maybe this was some kind of like old abandoned mine.
That'd be my guess.
Some kind. Yeah. And they just used it for their purposes.
Yeah.
Or something.
Yeah.
And so Shaggy and Scooby, they've gotten there, and they end up in the mine car.
And they take out the movie projector that had been showing Joe next to the pit the whole time.
But I don't get the movie projector thing, because then wouldn't you have to have a movie projector on every, like...
I think it was just for that specific instance.
Okay, because I was like, there definitely was a movie projector on the boat, but...
No, the other Joe is real, that one was not.
Maybe the one time that the captain disappeared, there was a projector.
But okay.
Yeah, like we've got like 2 times that it probably wasn't a real person.
Yeah.
So they do that, and they're like, "Hey, you guys are stuck in a hole. Let's get you out." So they use the crane and the rope trap.
And everyone grabs on. All like 8 of them grab on, but also Shaggy knows how to operate a crane. When did he learn this? Like, where's his certification?
Bards are jacks of all trades by design.
Yes, more evidence. Yep. So somehow everyone just gets lifted up out of the pit. Yeah. Physics.
All of the physics happening in this episode. And the ghosts come back. Oh no! This is where the uptick in the shenanigans is about to happen, y'all. We're here. We're in it to win it. We haven't
had a whole lot so far.
Yeah.
So run away.
Yep. So first,
Fred throws the trap onto the ghosts. Apparently, he's pretty dang strong.
The man can bench press 220 pounds. That's
true. He can bench 220.
Yeah.
Did you know he can bench 220? Did you know? It's his catchphrase in What's New, Scooby-Doo. He says it once every episode.
He will not let anybody forget that.
I love it.
All right, so we get the run cycles. It's almost a Doors to Gag, Ethan. It's almost.
Yeah, the running, that's like a good 8 minutes.
Yes.
Yeah, highlights include, I love just like the noise. It sounds like bongos almost. It's like, right? Like when they're running. That's great.
Iconic.
Love when they ran into a giant spider web and then bounced back. Loved that.
What
else is really iconic. Good? Those definitely stood out.
On the stalactites.
Yes. Dumping money on the captain scavenger ghost, and that somehow stopping him.
Iconic.
The
fact that we have our iconic run styles of the gang, but then all of the Josie and the Pussycats gang, they all do the run with their arms in front of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's very strange. That's the...
Yeah, we also, but everyone's running.
Yeah, we also get Joe being used as a bridge after they topple him over.
Yeah, a lot of shenanigans. Just run. They're literally just running back and forth in this mine, split into two groups, chased by two ghosts.
We get a weird like stalactite door that's operated by like a lever that Joe tries to use to trap the Pussycats in, and then Sebastian like undoes it. So then that's when Joe slides all the way. It's again shenanigans.
Yep.
So he's a bridge.
Yeah, somehow, the physics. Yeah, we'll just ignore it. We'll just ignore physics. Yeah.
Yeah, and we also in more physics-related shenanigans, everyone sits on each other's shoulders to make a bridge across a little gap here.
Yeah, that definitely is plausible. I believe it.
I mean, they also fall down it, so it doesn't really work too well. There's the water. Yeah. The water where all the Pussycats
run over a puddle.
And then I think Joe falls into it for some reason.
Like I love when it's like like it's just sees their the cartoon gimmick of their legs just moving rapidly, and like it's just like the idea that they're moving so fast that like they don't get stuck in it, but then like he slips
and Joe just falls.
Yeah, I love all of it. I love all of it.
In addition to that, Joe and the captain are on the world's bounciest bridge.
Yeah.
Because Joe like ran too fast and then he like fell off a cliff onto the bridge, making it bounce.
Somehow not that much.
Real Wile E. Coyote moment here.
Yes.
And because they're trapped like that on the bridge, everybody runs outside. They find the little boat-ish ledge thing.
Yeah, it's like a raft. That you steer with it's like a river craft that you steer with like the long pole.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
There's a name for it, but a
gondola?
The gondola is like the Venice one. Maybe this is more just like a barge that you...
Yeah, I guess.
And poor Fred is the only one paddling.
Yes.
Yeah. And then all of these shenanigans like briefly happen over the water because somehow the two ghosts have a power boat.
Yep, they do.
Yeah.
And then everybody gets on a log, and then Fred does a lasso, attaches a rope to your boat.
Perfectly gets it on.
It's beautiful.
And then they're just being led across the water.
Which that's definitely how a floating log would get towed by a powerboat. 100%.
You know what? We have some physics here because they do end up hitting the boat when everybody stops.
Well, because the ghosts are like, oh, we'll never see those kids again. Like, finally, they're gone. They park at the Dixie Queen, and then the log like bonks into them from behind, and the ghosts are just like, huh? And then the kids just are just like, whoop, and then just run away. And then like the chase scene continues. It's like this, like them in the water is like this little interlude of the running, and then like literally the chasing shenanigans just start again, but on the other boat.
Yeah. So the captain is going after Mystery Inc. Our smart gang hides under a table, and Shaggy and Scooby are in a barrel of flour, which
hygienic,
beautiful. And when the captain opens it. And it's like, it's like, oh no, real ghosts, because now they're white.
And gets scared, and then he runs away. I'm like, what?
Who is this man?
Like,
not only that, the man broke the fourth wall. He looked directly into camera and said a real ghost and ran away.
And then he just runs. Yeah, and like, and isn't that how he runs into Joe, and he's like, "There's real ghosts here. Like, we need to get out." And like, isn't that technically how they end up getting captured? Just because Shaggy and Scooby scare them as pretending to be real ghosts? Yeah.
Yes.
Which is better than any trap they could have set in this episode.
But like, that's cuckoo bananas.
Shaggy and Scooby also sneeze, and all the flour is gone from them.
Yeah. Listen, have you ever had a sneeze so powerful that like everything just leaves you?
I mean, I've had sneezes where I feel like my soul's left my body. But...
Yeah, it was that kind of sneeze for them.
And then, apparently the ghosts were also covered in some white stuff because, like, they fall into the water and then they look like normal people.
And you're like, what was that grace? Like, it doesn't make sense. Right. And then we have our U.S. Treasury employee king.
Yes.
He finally gets his moment.
Yeah, and he does the unmasking. He's just like, it was actually Captain Canopy, who was actually this other guy who we never mentioned in the episode.
That gagged me. Because, like, I love the reveal, right? There's always like, oh, peel the mask away. But then he was like, it was Captain Canopy. And then he peels away that mask. And he was like, he wasn't even real. Homeboy was out here wearing 2 masks.
Yeah, and then his part doesn't have any.
Yeah. He's just like, this is Joe.
He's just a guy.
You don't even know who it is. It's just a guy. Like, that, it's problematic.
Again, we don't even know if he's, like, I don't know, painting his body to look like that.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
We don't.
Yeah.
It's problematic, but
very much.
At least our like, I just like, not even just like, oh, I'm a sheriff. For Lance Goodwin, he like shows his badge. He's like, I'm a U. Like, just the way he says it, he's like, I'm a U.S. Treasury agent. I'm like, what the fuck is that? He's like, we've been investigating these counterfeit money. And I'm like, usually it's like, oh, we're with the police. Oh, we're with the spy agency. Or like, oh, we're, CIA. Okay. But he's like, I'm with the Treasury.
Well, they do actually have that. The U.S. Treasury does have that.
Wow.
I would assume it has something to do with, like, you're putting fake money into, like, the fraud, circulation. Yeah. And it's really fucking with, like, the economy. So can you not do that?
Yeah, fair.
I would assume that's specifically what they deal with, and that's why
he was there. Money crimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're like, the kids are like, what? I thought Johnny was supposed to be his partner. And then Johnny comes up behind them and is like, no, I did not want to deal with him. I was actually, like, in the brig the whole time because I was figuring out his plan and he captured me.
Yeah, so. Sure. The way the story gets wrapped up nicely, does it make sense to me? No. Does it work? Sure. Yep. And it works because then we eventually get a little Josie and the Pussycats musical performance.
Yes, we do.
Yeah. We don't have, like, listen. Okay, we've had musical guests on before, but what we really should have had is we should have had an actual musical number, not just like random.
I was hoping there would be.
Yeah, and then all it was just like a little bit of music, them dancing, nobody else on the boat except U.S. Treasury agent, the 2 gangs, and then just like the tiny musical performance. I was hoping there'd be a song.
Yeah,
Adele, you should have been on for like the Davy Jones episode because like that was my favorite of the musical guests thing because he sang a song and it was like it was diegetic and he sang it to like was it like to distract the bad guy or something?
It was like to calm it down because they thought it was a giant frog, but it was just a guy.
Oh,
just a guy, and the girls were just like, "Hey, Davy, can you like sing for us to like calm the animal down, tame the beast?"
Yeah,
and then he sang the rest during the entire chase sequence. We didn't even get a chase sequence song. Like,
no, we didn't.
It's very rude that we didn't get more music in this episode, where their whole thing is that they're musical guests. So
yeah. Oh well, at least it all ended happily for them, and Johnny. Yeah. Inherited the Dixie Queen, and it sailed again, and everyone was happy.
And Alexandra got wet because she literally tried to pour a bucket of water.
I know, into the wind.
Right. And homegirl, you are not smart.
I know. I'm girl. Give it up, girl. Yeah.
And okay, I think the last shenanigan, or maybe not the last one, but listen, this has to be a shenanigan that they're putting the counterfeit money into
the furnice.
Oh yes, that was hilarious.
And then it comes out as
dollar size. I love that. And they were like, "Oh, we need more fuel." And then you see Fred and Alan and Alex, the men, hard at work shoveling paper into the furnace. I loved it.
Like they've got to be doing that so much because paper burns just
exactly. I was like, that's not an adequate fuel, but it was a good gag. I liked the dollar sign smoke. It was it was a good way to end it.
Yep. The actual last one is where Shaggy's supposed to be getting some free food for helping to save everybody, and Scooby steals it, and because he's making him a burger, but then he's like, no, actually, it's mine. it goes in his mouth, he runs, and then he eats it.
Yeah, continuous gag. Just Scooby just taking the food instead.
Mm-hmm.
This poor boy, he's starving. Feed him.
Feed him.
Yeah, solid 10 out of 10. No notes otherwise, except for I would have liked the musical performance, but
let's listen. We need music and we don't need racism. These are
could have done without the racism. That was, and also I think, I would say explore the whole Alexander very clearly just has a crush on Josie, and I think we could explore that more. Yeah.
We could have explored that some more.
Absolutely. Well, Ethan.
Yes.
What time is it?
It's terror time again.
Let's talk about some trivia, my dudes. Let's go to the Scoobypedia. All right. So, did you know that this episode marks the final animated appearance of Josie and the Pussycats to date?
Yeah.
Well, Josie and the Pussycats 1970 animated series ended on January 2nd, 1971. They continued on in Josie and the Pussycats in Outer Space in 1972, which lasted in reruns until January 26, 1974. Early production art for Hanna-Barbera's 1977 All-Star Battle of the Network spoof, Laugh Olympics, featured Alexandra, Sebastian, Alexander, and Melody, among other Hanna-Barbera characters, as member of the Scooby-Doobies team, but legal problems with Archie Comics prevented their inclusion in the final program.
Legal problems. They'll get you.
The worst. Despite being well known for musical numbers in their own series, Josie and the Pussycats do not perform any songs, though they do appear playing their instruments in their cat costumes at the very end of the episode. Nor does the episode include chase music. Anyway.
Adele, do you want to take a bullet point for us?
Yeah. The group talks as though the events in Mark Twain's Tom Sawyer tales actually happened, which we did discuss.
So in this universe, was Mark Twain just like a historian?
Maybe.
And just documented all this?
Maybe. Yeah.
Unclear. This episode also shares its title with a Nancy Drew book that has a similar plot. I found out when I was Googling the episode title to try to find this wiki, actually.
Oh.
It was like, Nancy Drew? What? Interesting.
Adele, are you a Nancy Drew girly?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
We love Nancy Drew.
Oh, yeah. I still have all my books.
Amazing. This episode, along with the next one, are the only episodes in season 2 to have a red title card.
Oh.
And in the second episode of Josie and the Pussycats, called A Green Thumb is Not a Gold Finger. Oh, that's funny. Scooby was briefly mentioned by Alexandra Cabot when she asked Josie who she was expecting. So a little bit of a crossover, but not much.
No, just by name.
And for cultural references, when Shaggy is having trouble understanding the map at the beginning of the episode, he says it is Greek to him, paraphrasing a line from the William Shakespeare play Julius Caesar.
Daphne states that they are in Mark Twain country in the image of Tom Sawyer. The title character lives in the town of St. Petersburg, Missouri, which is fictional, but is based on Mark Twain's own hometown of Hannibal, Missouri.
There you go. You clocked it. Missouri.
Yeah. Alexander calls himself Alexander the Great.
That he does.
He does.
When Shaggy and Scooby dive into the brig, Shaggy shouts Geronimo, while Scooby shouts Sitting Bull. Sitting Bull was the leader of the Sioux Indians who defeated George Armstrong Custer during the Battle of Little.
Geronimo was also a real person.
Yes.
Yeah, he was. So I'm like, why did it not mention that? I mean, we've had several references to Geronimo also in this series. In the episode that we shall not name anymore because it's actually one of our most listened to.
Well, because it was the 5th episode we ever recorded.
True.
That's fair.
Listeners, if you want to find out what that is, you can look for yourself. When the rest of the gang and the Pussycats enter the secret cavern, Melody says, "Hey, he forgot to say open Sesame Street." Sesame Street was one of the most popular children's shows at the time, entering its 5th season as of release of this episode.
Nice.
And I hope it still continues. Listen, have y'all heard the Sesame Street drama?
I know. I know all about it, and I'm so sad.
It's intense. It's intense.
If Sesame Street does not continue, I don't know if I can continue.
Listen. I'm going to cry if I cannot show Sesame Street to my future children.
I mean, you'll do the reruns, I guess, but...
Yes, but like modern Sesame Street. you know?
That's true.
That's true.
All right, Ethan, you want to give us our final shenanigan counter? What do we have for this episode?
So it's not quite top 5, but it's pretty close. You have a shenanigan count of 34.
Whoa.
Okay. So it's about mid. It's about mid.
Yeah. Okay. Very nice.
And you were like, it's shenanigans in a trench coat, but it's, listen. The thing that outdid it was the Batman and Robin episode. And
that's fair. That's fair.
I mean, Josh was adamant about trying to take over the number 1 spot, so.
Okay.
He certainly was.
I respect the fighting spirit.
Yep. So whose side are we on for this one?
Melody.
Obviously. I think we figured that out already.
Yeah, whatever Melody wants, she can have.
I'm not necessarily on Alexandra's side, but I love her.
Like, girl, just ask Josie out. Like, just go for it. Yeah. But Melody,
those were also
Melody
the
is
vibes
the star.
I was getting. I'm not gonna lie, from the show where they were on together, the live action. I was like,
sure.
When will this kiss?
Yeah. See, I think it's Melody's world, and we're all living in it.
Truly.
Yeah.
All right. So Adele, what would you rate this episode out of 5 Scooby Snacks?
Well, I think we're gonna have to do a -1 for the racism.
Yeah, I think that's a given.
So I will give it, and it could be gayer. Could be gayer. So I will give it a 3.5 because it could be gayer, and the racism was a big hit this time. A big hit. But still very enjoyable. Yeah.
Charlie?
I think I might just go with the 3.5 as well, because this, if it wasn't racist, it would probably be one of my favorites, and then if it had music, it would definitely be at the top.
Yeah.
Like, it's I like the story that they are telling. In the episode, even if it's ridiculous. Yeah. It's still one of their stronger ones.
Sure. So. And I gave it a 3, so that gives us an average of 3.33 out of 5.
Okay.
There we go.
So that about wraps it up on our end. Adele, do you want people to find you on the internet? And if so, where can they do that?
The best place to find me on the internet, I don't really use it much anymore to do anything.
Does anyone use the internet anymore? It's gone.
Yeah, it's turned into such a bad place. Yeah. The best place to find me is in the Deus Ex Media survey, probably.
Yeah.
You know what? Well, since you've guessed it on the show now, you will also be invited to our server, the Mysteries in the Machine server.
Perfect. Yeah, so you can just Discord is like the one I use most now.
Sure.
If people want to find me, because everywhere else sucks.
And listeners, if you want to join Adele as well as us in that server, you can go to this blank because I don't know what our link's going to be yet.
To find Mysteries in the Machine on Patreon. The link will be in the show notes. So
yes.
Awesome.
Yeah. Good shit. Adele, thank you so much for coming and joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Again.
Yes. I'm always down for a mystery.
Lovely.
I'm so glad. Well, y'all, we're going to go split up and look for clues for our next mystery. Bye.
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 You can follow this podcast socials at Mysteries in the Machine Pod on Instagram. You can send a message to our email, mysteriesinthemachinepod@gmail.com. Be sure to give us a rating, a review, or let your friends and followers know how much you love the podcast. That really helps. You can follow me, Charlie, at GreenPixie12 on most platforms. I also have an art Instagram at GreenPixieDraws.
You can find me, Ethan, on Instagram and Threads at ethan.t.hewlin. Our music was written and produced by Jason Hilton. You can find him at Negative Selections on Instagram.